It ain't too late at any age.
There you go.
Good morning. Good morning and welcome to the Indy Boomer Show. I'm Mary Pat McKee and this morning I am sitting here with Jane Malkoff from Clarity
Care Advocates.
Clarity Care Advocates. I'm having a difficult time this morning. Anyway, thanks for watching this morning. Couple of things for you before Jane and I jump into it. New magazine out, Indy Boomer for March. You will see some, how should we say, that's not the right word, Pacers on the cover with Darnell Hillman, Slick Leonard, George McGinnis, and Bob Nadalekli. They won the championship in 1970, 72, and 73, and we've got a great article about them in the magazine this time. You can pick it up at any Kroger or Marsh store in Marion and surrounding counties. Of course, we always want to thank Logan Street Signs and Banners and Jim Wofford for the opportunity to have this show on Indy Boomer magazine show. So Jane, let's jump in. Jane's been here several times, always has good information for us. Jane, tell me, why would somebody need to call Clarity?
The primary reason that our company, Clarity Care Advocates, is a booming business is because there are lots of streets to navigate when you have needs. Everyone has an opinion. The doctor has an opinion. The hospital has an opinion. Maybe the rehab staff at the facility has an opinion.
The family has an opinion.
And different. Sometimes what families need is somebody who's neutral. Navigate through what the needs are. An example would be maybe somebody who's had fallen and had an injury.
Mm-hmm. And that's usually, a lot of times, how it starts.
Yes.
Is with a fall.
And maybe they're in the hospital and people don't understand that when does Medicare cover, when does Medicare not cover a rehab situation? And what if your loved one isn't quite ready maybe to be alone at the end of rehab?
Right.
Is remaining in facility longer going to be best for this person? Is going home an option? How do you pay for those options? And there's all kinds of people saying, well, here's the VA benefit and here's your maybe a Medicaid option, and no, I think they should stay in facility. But people really can benefit from an experienced nurse consultant who understands how to navigate all of those and help you weigh out all the factors to come up with a decision that ultimately, from what we have been able to calculate, reduces readmission rates to the hospital,
right.
Prevents multiple physician visits, and allows people to have some peace of mind about their choices.
Okay. Well, I think we need to back up for just a moment because, Jane, you are a nurse practitioner.
That's right.
And you have been doing this for geriatric nursing for 20-some years.
Yes, I've been a registered nurse since 1998, and I've been a nurse practitioner since 1994, which is actually well before most people had even encountered a nurse practitioner. And all of this time working primarily for people who have geriatric needs. My passion has always been in navigating geriatric clients into a higher quality of life and helping their families, and in this case boomers, understand what the options are, because it's hard to make a good choice if you don't know what the options are.
Well, one of our biggest things we always say on Indy Boomer is that ask an expert, whether it's financial, whether it's medical, if you need an attorney, that type of thing. I know Jane helped our family 5 or 6 years ago when we had to put my folks into retirement community, and the bottom line was safety. They weren't safe in any home, and I know that's a big one for folks, and that's why they might move out of their home. But the thing that amazed me, and why I think that what Jane offers is such a valuable service, is because she had information that we hadn't even thought about asking her or anybody, because you don't know what you don't know. So can you speak to that?
Yes, I think, and I'll give an example of that, which is very common currently with long-term care policies. So people have a long-term care policy and they think, well, as soon as mom or dad or sister, brother, somebody needs help, well, we'll activate this policy. Well, I've had a client for 7 years who could have qualified under that policy part of that time.
Right.
But she's also going to live a much longer life. So you have to know, how do you strategize? What questions do you ask about when do you implement the policy? When do you use other sources of income? And how do you make that money last for the longevity? And also leverage it for when she's ready to go to a retirement center, so she has a way to pay for being in the one she wants to be in, Where some people would just immediately think, oh, we have a long-term care policy, so as soon as care goes into home, they want to pull the trigger and file the claim for that. When really there's a strategy for assessing that. People don't understand that. They think the benefit's there, I should tap into it.
Right. But once you tap into that, then does that, you only get it once? Or I mean, is that...
The policies are different. Some of them
Okay.
pay out a maximum amount of money. Some
Right.
of them will pay
What,
for so
immediately
many years.
when you claim it?
No, a
pays out?
total amount of money.
Okay, gotcha,
Most
gotcha.
of them give a dollar amount per day, anywhere from, say, $90 a day to $125 a day for the basic plans. And then there's Cadillac plans that go into $300, $400 a day.
Well, some of the facilities, if they're in 24-hour skilled, it can
That's
cost
right.
that much a day.
And some people, their monthly income is decent enough, they can afford somebody helping them in their home 4 hours a day, 2 or 3 days a week.
Right.
And you may not want to tap into that plan because their life expectancy is really not just 1, 2, 3 years. Their life
Right.
expectancy might be 10 or 12 years.
Right.
So you don't want to spend all of that down. So those are times where people, that you think automatically, oh, we should tap into that benefit.
It would make sense. I mean,
Or you
that's what
think
most people would
automatically
think.
you have a VA benefit coming, you should just tap into it. That's not always true, because what you really need is Medicaid planning, and the two of those have to be done in a way that doesn't harm one or the other in your planning. So people don't know that.
Yeah, I know, but talk about needing an expert. You
Yeah,
need an expert
that's
to
right.
navigate your way through that, because
That's
it's not easy. And if you don't strategize correctly, I know before my family had gotten with you, we had spent $17,000 in 1 month because my father had to have care while my mother had broke her hip. So there's another example. We could have played that probably differently and not have had to spend thousands of dollars
Yes.
in a short period of time. It makes if they have a nice...
For instance, when you talk about you don't know what you don't know, people
Right.
don't know that there are options long-term in a facility, and they needed Medicaid to pay for that, which is very common. About 67% of all of our nursing facilities are Medicaid folks in there. It's a benefit we're entitled to. But there's a way to get home on a program called Money Follows the Person through
Right.
Medicaid, and
That's
it's a
right.
process.
I do remember.
But you have to plan, you have to decide, well, somebody might come and do the assessment and say you're a good candidate, but if somebody doesn't sit down with you and talk to you about what is that really going to look like based on this person's needs, because you'll hear the fear of the nursing home, you'll hear about their loved one,
Right.
and helping them decide, will this work in our family structure for what we plan to do based on this
Yeah,
level
yeah.
of need. Which company does it choose? Favor to take your loved one home, but are there care companies in that area where this home is that are going to be able to provide a high quality of service?
You know, when Margaret and I decided to sell the old estate here, we had only one choice in signage. Logan Street signs and banners. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore, but rather located on 10th Street on the south side of Noblesville. Well, we sold the old beauty, and we were able to buy this wonderful estate. And we had so much money left over, I was able to buy this beautiful 1968 LD. Only 472,000 miles. Margaret Porter Schvelt frame. Next time you're looking for signs or banners, call old Jim at Logan Street Signs and Banners, 773-7200. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore.
It ain't
It took every minute. Oh, we're back. Welcome back to the Indy Boomer Show. I'm Mary Pat McKee. I'm sitting here this morning with Jane Malkoff with Clarity Care Advocates. I said it correctly this time. That is kind of a tongue twister, you have to
It
admit.
is. It is.
But I do like it. I like the name. I know it's a new name.
yes.
And Clarity, you know, it says it all to me because I know what you do, and what you do very well. And that
Thank
is
you.
she helps baby boomers navigate the road when they are trying to help their parents, or maybe even themselves at this point, as boomers turn 70 this year, the oldest boomers. She helps them navigate and figure out what is the best scenario. Before the break, we were just talking about assessments and that type of thing. Tell folks what what should they expect from an assessment, or what will they get from an assessment?
Sure.
What you would do.
There are a lot of experts out there giving lots of advice, great advice. So
Yes.
you have elder law attorneys, and you might have your physician, you have family members, you have maybe your physical therapist, you have a nursing facility, you have people advising financially, you have all of these people sort of giving you great advice, but you don't really have an assessment of what the need of that person really is.
Right.
So how do you take all of that wonderful advice and all the services in the community that's available
together.
and then come up with a plan that works best for you as an individual? So if you were to call Clarity Care Advocates for an assessment, we would be able to come on site, whether you're in a hospital, in a nursing facility, assisted living, or in your home,
Right.
and start working through what are all of the components impacting this particular person's healthcare crisis.
Right.
And how do you navigate through that? And so the assessment would give you the initial 1, 2, 3 steps that you need to take first in order to kind of smooth things down, settle it down, get a view of what's really happening, and a plan in place. So when you
Right.
have a trajectory to follow, suddenly you feel that you have more control.
Right.
And you have someone you can call 24 hours a day to run things by, you know, to see, does this sound right? This is what we're thinking, or this is what happened last night. Does that change our plan? Maybe mom or dad had a setback with an experience. Does this change our plan that we were doing to bring them home or to move them to assisted living?
Right.
And it helps you to understand how the system works. Are you getting advice inside a facility that's benefiting the facility, or are you getting advice that's really best for your loved one? And you have that voice. So our
Right.
assessment is usually a one-time visit. It usually lasts between an hour and a half to 2.5 hours, depending on the severity of the problem.
Okay.
And we work with the family and their loved one.
Okay.
And we either give a printed document of all the detail, including all of the best services in town, because in addition to Clarity Care Advocates, we have a component of our company called Clarity Care Partners, and we take
And that's the
no
home health.
That's right. We take no kickback for referrals we make. When we make a referral, this is a good facility for rehab, or this is a good home health agency. We are doing that based on 20 years of experience working in this community.
Right, and
So-
not because that facility is paying you money to do so.
That's correct.
That's another reason that we enjoyed your services.
Yes.
Because I knew it was true, and it wasn't.
It was
for
all
that.
about what is best for that older adult. It's all
Right.
about advocacy. It's all about what's best for them. We do pro bono work, and we do work that's rated by the hour. And so when we talk to individuals, when they call us about an assessment, we work through with them individually
Right.
what it would look like for them, and how we're going to do that.
And speaking of, there's not just the facilities in the picture. There's, like you said, elder law attorneys. All these other players in the game.
Financial planners,
Yes.
estate
Do
planners.
you then either say you need to get a financial planner, or can you suggest?
Yes.
Do you have resources?
We have every resource that you need to navigate through the problem you're
Okay.
having.
Okay,
So
yeah.
we pull all of the pieces together
Right.
into a plan.
Uh-huh.
So we're not we cannot be the person who gives you the best acute care facility rehab. We cannot be the person through all of those options, the Medicaid, the long-term care
Right.
insurance, the VA. You will need people to help you do that, but you don't have somebody with 20 years of nursing experience, nurse practitioner experience, and we have a social worker and 2 other nurses to help guide you through all of that. Like, put the whole puzzle together.
Right.
And take your own individual preferences and make them work, so you have a plan that you feel good about for your loved one.
Well, and I also think, 5 years ago when I started the magazine, one of our first articles we did was VA aid and attendance. I was amazed. I didn't know anything about it, found out about it, that, it was back then a very well kept secret. I think in 5 years it's really developed and more people know about it. But another thing that I know you can do, because you did it for us, is that you were able to tell us the questions that we needed to ask when we got to that financial planner, or when we got to whatever the next phase was of this road we were trying to get down, to figure out what was the best scenario for our folks. And that's valuable too. So tell us a little bit more. So you have your home health, is that non-medical, or is it skilled nursing too?
It's no. We have a what we call Clarity family of services. So we are
Okay.
primarily Clarity Care Advocates, and
Right.
what grew, a need that grew out of that is that When we were referring our clients out for non-skilled care, we were
Right.
having a hard time finding high-quality, consistent services that were willing to work as a team.
Okay.
And so our clients were getting good care, about 50% of the people that would come in from outsourced companies. So we decided that because we had such a good standing in the community and lots of women that we knew, that we would attempt offering the personal service agency, non-skilled home care.
Okay,
And so
yeah,
we have
makes
Clarity caregivers. So we have Clarity
Okay.
Care Advocates, Clarity Caregivers, and Clarity Care Partners, which is our referral. This is how we know when you're having a particular need, who's going to match that need that you would need support with, whether
Right.
it's an elder law attorney or somebody to do VA planning or somebody to help you figure out is a long-term policy, Medicaid, all these different options that could be beneficial to you. And also to navigate, maybe to get in touch with the right facilities. Maybe you're trying to decide which facility is going to be best, because we might know that the one on the corner close to our home has a good reputation, but what you may not know is that your particular loved one with agitated dementia would never be accepted there.
Right.
But you're not aware of those sorts of things, so we help you be able to look at what those options would be.
Well, you bring up another good
Within the facility, so we help the families or the resident have a voice when they're not really able. Something doesn't feel right. They're not
Yeah.
necessarily disgruntled, but they feel something's off, or they're concerned, and
Yeah.
we can help them verbalize what that is and help the facility understand what their expectations are, whether their expectations are reasonable.
Right.
And if they are, how do we go about correcting the problem, all in a manner of teamwork, not a
Right.
manner. We're all about the community. It takes a community
Yeah.
to handle the needs of
Well-
our aging
Right.
population and the healthcare needs that come along with that.
Well, and I think there can be a really breakdown of communication a lot of times between the staff, between the patient, so to speak, your parent, and the family. I mean, I've experienced it firsthand as well. So I mean, it's nice to have somebody who can come in and pull it all
That's right.
together, and because if you've never done it before, how would you know what the expectations should
That's
be?
right. And I think it kind of in a nutshell, so much of what we do with older adults that have health needs is medicalize what's happening to them. Make it as if aging is a disease. And our whole point is to say this is a human being with a life. How do we make it the highest quality possible?
Yeah.
And we do that by doing the assessment and helping you figure out what steps you can take to see to it that this person is not lost in this medical system, that the
Exactly.
human being and the life is not lost.
That is
in
what
that.
is important, and they still have a reason to live.
That's right.
I see that happen a lot. Hey, Jane, time flies when you're having fun, and we've had fun again. Always great information from you, and appreciate it. Hey, don't forget to pick up the new March Indy Boomer magazine at any Kroger or Marsh store in Marion and surrounding counties. Also, do not forget we have a brand new show on Sunday, and it's kind of a basketball theme. We have Angela Pizzo, and we have Bobby Plump, and this is
nice.
Boomer TV on Channel 8 on Sunday mornings at 10:30 with Patty Spittler. So please join us for that, and we will see you here next time. Thanks so much.